Simon says, "What are you doing? What are you doing, DC? What's going on over there? Can someone explain to me the decision-making process that you guys are going through lately? I can't understand it. What are you doing with your life? What are you doing over there? It's hard to be a DC fan these days. I mean, I'm in the struggle right here in the trenches trying to convince people, read this, watch that. DC is still worthy. You're making it hard, though. I mean, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And I'm a big fan. What am I talking about? Okay, let's start. Let's cut to the chase. Have you seen the Batwoman trailer? Because I can't, it literally almost broke my mind. I can't believe that someone would actually put this trailer out, that they would put lines like this on a show that supposedly they're trying to take seriously. I mean, it'll fit perfectly when it's fit for a woman. Did you guys just say that? Like, are you serious? That's not the most cheesy, weird, ridiculous line you've ever written or heard of? I'm not going to let a man take credit for another, for a woman's work. What are you talking about, lady? You dressed up like Batman. You fought criminals like Batman. You used Batman's equipment doing it. It's night, so people can't really tell what a dude or a woman dressed like Batman might be. I mean, it's just somebody dressed like Batman. Of course they're going to think you're Batman. You're dressed like him. It's absurd. Not to mention, in the video, in the trailer itself, your father says that, you're just like Bruce Wayne. And you're like, yeah, I'm more handsome. You actively admit that you're trying to be Bruce Wayne. You got his stuff. And you're upset that people think that you're Batman? I mean, what did you think they were going to think? They were going to be like, oh, it's super dark out and she's beating the criminals. She's got boobs. It's obviously a woman. What? What is going on over there? What are you doing? I got this thing about rules. Oh, you do? Really? You do? You have a thing about rules? Come on. This is just, it's out of control. And I don't have a problem with strong female leads and feminism and all that stuff. Out of all the CW shows, you could say that Supergirl was probably the most female-centric and feminist, if you even want to call it that. And that's my favorite of all the shows. So, I don't have a problem with strong female characters, strong female superheroes. In fact, I collect Wonder Woman, I collect Captain Marvel, I collected Batwoman for a time. I stopped collecting her merely because I don't have the time or resources to collect all of the comics I want to collect anymore. But I collected all of these characters for a long time, and I still collect a lot of female characters as well. I don't have a problem with strong female leads. I kind of have a problem when it feels like you're alienating half of your audience, and that's what it feels like. And maybe that's not the intention, but that's what's coming across. And I don't understand why you would do that. I don't understand why you would take such a strong stance when, let's be honest, probably more than half of your audience is actually male. I'm just saying, you're probably not going to get a majority of your audience to be this pro-feminist female movement that you're hoping, I guess. Because, I mean, history has shown that in the past, the majority of people consuming superhero media are male. I mean, so you're taking the active steps to, ostracize more than half of your target audience, but let's say half for now of your target audience, even though we know, or at least history has proven, that generally it is males who consume this type of media. So if we're going to go by history, you're actively, trying, or not trying, but actively putting out stuff that may ostracize more than half of your audience. And I can't seem to understand it. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make business sense. It doesn't make marketing sense. It doesn't make any type of sense. You can still achieve a strong female lead and all this other stuff without actually coming across in a way that seems like it's ostracizing half of your audience. That's just my take. You guys let me know. I personally, I usually give shows a shot, even if I don't think I'm gonna like them. I usually give them a shot, an episode or two to get me hooked. I don't feel like I want to give this show any type of leeway or room to convince me otherwise. I mean, if that's the trailer that you're going to show me, and that's supposedly, I mean, the trailer really should put out some of the best stuff so it makes you want to watch the show. This has done the complete opposite. It has made me not want to watch the show because if that's what I'm going to be getting into, yeah, you can keep that stuff. There's plenty of other TV out there, even plenty of other shows with strong female leads. Supergirl would be one of them. What I'd rather watch. I'd rather spend my time watching that than this. So, I don't know. You guys should probably rethink that whole decision. I know you're not going to. Oh, well, we'll see how it goes. What else? So, I don't get it. I don't get it. What are you doing? What are you doing? So, Superman, DC is coming out with a new Superman Year 1 storyline. And that's okay, I guess. I don't know. Batman Year One was a popular thing, and Frank Miller wrote that. He also wrote Dark Knight Returns. And if you don't know who Frank Miller is, you probably should, because he has done a lot of amazing work. I'm not trying to take that away from him. He did 300, Sin City, a bunch of other stuff that even if you don't read comic books, you're pretty familiar with his work. I mean, his movies, like I said, 300, Sin City. He wrote a couple of the RoboCops, 2 and 3, I believe. As well as Dark Knight Returns is probably the most famous Batman story, along with Batman Year One. So he has been very influential in comic books and media. So again, I don't want to take that away from him. I'm not trying to take that away from him. And he also wrote Daredevil. He reimagined Daredevil into the Daredevil that is on Netflix and that everybody knows and loves now. Before that, Daredevil was kind of like a swashbuckler type of hero. And, Frank Miller really made him into that noir, ninja type hero we all know and love. So, I'm not going to take away that away from Frank Miller. He did great. However, Frank Miller has gone on record saying that he doesn't really understand or get Superman. So, I don't understand why you would hire somebody who has actively said that he doesn't understand Superman, he doesn't really get him, he doesn't really like him. Why you would hire that person to write Superman Year One? First off, we don't need Superman Year One. I'm just going to say that right now. I love Superman. He is literally my favorite, if not one of my top 3 favorites superhero of all time. And I actually I've collected comics for decades at this point. And I actually stopped collecting comics at one point because I got so frustrated, specifically with Superman and Nightwing, a couple other things too, but specifically because at one point, I think in a 5-year span, they had rebooted Superman's origin story like 10 times or something ridiculous. And I had it. I didn't want to do this no more. You keep trying to, tell me this is a new origin. This is Superman, this is what happens when he started his career. How many times are you going to tell me that? How many times are you going to try to take my money for the same story? And you're just churning that same thing out and out and out. And then like, oh, this story doesn't count anymore. Now it's this story. No, man. No, enough is enough. It's ridiculous at this point. But what's even more ridiculous is that you give it to Frank Miller. Frank Miller, aside from all the great stuff he did with Batman and 300 and all that other stuff, is probably the single most, has been the author that has done the most damage to Superman ever out of anyone. I mean, most people who don't like Superman have been indoctrinated into the Superman that Frank Miller wrote in Dark Knight Returns. That's really the Superman most people, when they're complaining about Superman, he's a Boy Scout, he works for the government, all this other jazz, that's where they're getting it from. They're getting it from Dark Knight Returns. And they get it from Dark Knight Returns because DC has continuously propagated this stereotype of Superman after Dark Knight Returns. You see it in every single cartoon series, even now in Batman vs Superman. They go through the same nonsense over and over and over again, and they constantly want to push this Superman thing now, which is not actually Superman. Again, He has said he doesn't understand Superman. He doesn't understand Superman. He has said he doesn't like Superman. Why would you give him Superman, considering that the reason a lot of people don't like Superman is because of Frank Miller? It actually really irritates me. I'm going to do another video about this. I promise you that the people who've done the most damage to Superman and his reputation and that have made you not like Superman are DC themselves. That's coming. Trust me. It's been in the works for a while. Anyway, moving right along. Tom King. Tom King is a writer for DC, and he's been doing a lot of writing for DC lately. In my personal opinion, and I hate to pick on like a writer or something like that. I know I did it with Frank Miller, but again, he has said he doesn't understand. So I mean, I feel like it's fair game at this point for if someone says they don't understand something and then they go on and write about something they don't understand or don't like, I feel like you're fair game. I don't think that's the case with Tom King. However, I can't understand why DC is giving him so much work. I mean, like, Tom King has recently said that he's going to change Batman for a generation of readers. I want you to let that sink in for a second. Batman, probably, I want to say arguably, but it's really not. He is, with almost 100% certainty, I'll say that he's probably the most marketable superhero of all time. No one really tops Batman in selling merch or any of that jazz than Batman. I mean, he's number one. You put a bat signal on any damn thing and it'll sell, okay? You stamp a bat signal on any comic that's marginally involved with Batman and it sells. Like, and DC knows this. They've done it. They sell Azrael and all types, Shadow of the Bat and all types of crazy stuff that is only marginally involved with Batman, but they still manage to sell because it's somehow connected to Batman. I mean, that's how much marketability Batman has. Why do you think that you need to redefine that? I mean, he has been doing more than fine for generations, decades upon decades. He's been doing more than fine. We really don't need you to redefine Batman. Batman is doing fine by himself. As a matter of fact, I would say it's probably the height of arrogance to think that you can do better than what they're already doing. Because, I mean, you're going to do what? Better than the best? You're going to make him more likable? I mean, at this point, if you don't like Batman, you just don't like Batman. And I mean, even the people who say, a lot of people who say they don't like Batman, they still like Batman. I mean, he's Batman. He's cool. I like Superman, but I still like Batman. I mean, even though they're not, they have different way of doing things and all that stuff, I still love Batman, even though I prefer Superman. Or if I had to choose one, it would be, Superman. And yes, Superman would whooped it in Batman in a fight. I'm just, we're just going to lay that right there. But anyway, Batman doesn't need you to redefine him, okay? You don't need to redefine Batman. Batman is doing just fine by himself. And Rob Liefeld, I don't know if you guys know who Rob Liefeld is, but really quick, he was an artist that came out in the 90s. He was super popular. Some people in the 90s, his artistic style was very popular. It has not aged well, and his reputation has not aged well. But in any case, he tweeted, or I can't remember the exact circumstances of it now, but when New 52 started, Scott Snyder was over the moon because his Batman came out number one on the charts, and Rob Liefeld made a comment like, well, yeah, it's really hard to sell Batman. And he got a lot of flack for it. They were like, oh yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to come out with a number one book. But let's be honest, as much as you may not want to like Rob Liefeld, it's absolutely true what he said. It's not that hard to come out with Batman number one, a reboot. I don't care who was writing it. My next door neighbor who knows nothing about comics could have written it. My grandmother could have written Batman number one reboot, and everybody would have bought it. It would have been a sold out issue. Let's not pretend that Batman doesn't have buying power or marketability just because he's Batman, because he does. So there's no reason to try to redefine Batman. He's doing fine by himself. Thank you very much. And he's done fine for decades upon decades upon decades upon decades. Long before you were here and long after you were gone, Tom King. It's a height of arrogance to think that you could do otherwise. In any case, Tom King is also now responsible for Heroes in Crisis? That's the new crossover that DC is doing, where he made Wally West a criminal and murderer. Yeah, you read that right. You heard that right. Wally West is now a criminal and a murderer. I I can't. What are you doing? Somebody explain, please. I don't get it. Wally West. Okay, so let me try to explain a little something about DC. DC is a very legacy-based comic book company. Unlike Marvel, where Marvel has like Spider-Man and all that, and they're starting to make more Spider-Gwen and all these other Hulk, and Hulk, whatever, She-Hulk, and Thor, and Girl Thor, and whatever the hell. DC has always been about legacy. It's always been about a character passing the mantle on, or having proteges or sidekicks or whatever. That's why you have Batman, you have Nightwing, you have Robin, you have other Robin, and et cetera, Superman, Superboy, whatever, Wonder Woman, Wonder Girl, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's like 4 generations of superhero. You have people in the Justice League, the people in the Titans, the people in the Teen Titans, and then you have the ones that are coming up after them. You could really categorize it by Batman, right? He's probably the best way to see chronologically the heroes, because you have Bruce Wayne, Batman, then you have the first Robin, which was Dick Grayson. He's now a Titan. And then you have Tim Drake, who was in the Teen Titans, who got replaced by Damian Wayne. And Damian Wayne is now kind of like the 4th generation. So you got the Justice League generation, the Titans generation, and then the Teen Titans generation. And then there's kind of like this little tail end where you get like Damian Wayne and Jaime Reyes and all those like new guys who are even younger. So you have this generation and this legacy of passing on training and mantles and all this other jazz. And the only person that truly was able to surpass his mentor was Wally West. And that was a huge, if you think about it, that's a huge achievement. It'd be like Dick Grayson replacing Bruce Wayne. And yes, he's done in the comics, but let's face it, for even in the comics it's themselves, everybody knows Bruce Wayne is the Batman. Everybody still thinks of Bruce Wayne as Batman. It's almost like Dick Grayson he's holding on to the cowl until Bruce Wayne comes back, and that's what it felt like the whole time. And sure, you had this period where Dick and Damian were Batman and Robin, but inevitably we knew that it was going to come to a close, and the real Batman was going to come back. That wasn't the case with Wally. Wally was the Flash. Barry wasn't coming back, and he did that so well that he became the Flash for an entire generation of people. And what's insane is when Barry came back, and he took on a lot of the characteristics that made Wally West popular. And it's kind of, it inflamed the fan base, because you had Barry Allen taking over for Wally West again now. But at this point, Wally West had completely surpassed Barry Allen. He was faster. He did a lot more cool stuff. His supporting cast was better. His villains were better. Everything was better with Wally West. This is, I don't want to say it's a fact because it's an opinion, but for the most part, Barry Allen had never had a best-selling series, or it was never like one of the number ones on the chart. And Wally West did. For a time, Wally West had one of the best-selling series, and he was number 1 on the charts. That was something that Barry Allen never had. So he not only was able to take the place of the mentor, but he was actually able to surpass him, and that's a huge thing for a legacy-based company. And it was probably the only one in the entire company that was able to do that successfully. And now Tom King erased all of that goodwill, all of that character development, all of that story arc, to make Wally West a criminal and a murderer, so we can get rid of Wally in the worst possible way, have him shunted off to the side, so we can now give Barry the full limelight, full spotlight. And that is just utterly, in my opinion, despicable. Uh, there's no reason to completely trash a character that was beloved by lots of people. I don't understand it. I don't. Somebody explain it to me. Please explain to me how this makes sense. How does it make sense to completely trash a character that again has been loved by generations? Was the Flash for most people. I mean, even in the Justice League cartoon series, that Flash is Wally West, not Barry Allen. And the only reason Barry Allen got even a smidge of popularity before when he came back into the comics was because the CW introduced him in the Flash show. Because if it wasn't for that, I very much doubt you would have had the same reception of bringing Barry Allen back and making him the main Flash. A lot of people wouldn't even know who the hell Barry Allen was if it wasn't for the CW's Flash show. What are you doing? Can you help me out? Help a brother out. So, yeah, Tom King, I don't understand I don't get it. He put a bullet in Nightwing's head. Nightwing doesn't know who he is anymore. What is it you're trying to do, Tom King? What you're trying to kill or replace or, ostracize the entire DC lineup? Like, what are you doing? Can you get it together? Can you get it together? That's all we ask. Because again, how am I trying? How do I explain this to people that want to read comics? Go read this. Oh, you can't read this because now dude lost his memory. It's not even worth friggin' trying to follow what he's doing up new now. Oh, this is an awesome Flash story. Never mind, that dude's a killer now. Come on, come on. And finally, we get to the announcement of the new Batman. So, Robert Pattinson has been rumored to be Batman. Now, look, frankly, I'll give him a chance. If you see some pictures of him, he looks like a decent Bruce Wayne. However, understandably, a lot of fans are upset about the casting news. Okay, look, it's your prerogative to cast who you want. I just don't understand with your history of hate and malevolence that people just, people are trying to find reasons not to like DC movies already. You're already having a hard time trying to get the audience on your side with any movie that you come out these days. I mean, let's be honest. You see it. You guys know it. You see it. Anytime a DC movie comes out, it automatically gets the hate. It automatically gets the downvotes. It automatically gets the bad reviews. Some of them unjustified. Most of them unjustified, I think. I mean, some of them are justified, or a lot of complaints are justified. But I mean, a lot of them are just being picky and just, hate for the sake of hate. But in any case, why would you actively go with a casting choice that is going to create more controversy when you already have loads and mountain tops to overcome beforehand? Give it a safe bet. Put a poll out. I don't know what you got to do. Just don't pick somebody is going to infuriate the fan base and infuriate other people, because at this point everybody's looking for a reason. They're looking for a reason to not like it, and you're giving them every excuse. And why would you? I don't explain. What are you doing? Get your life together. Anyway, this has been Simon Says. Simon Says, please, DC, get it together. Fix this whole mess. Don't give Tom King any more stuff to write, because I can't, we don't need any more character assassinations, literally or figuratively at this point. Make better choices with your media. I'd be glad to help you. Give me a call. I'll help you out. This has been Jose Simon with Simon Says. Simon Says, DC, please do better. Help me to help you. I want to steer people your way. Help me help you. Do better. Be better. Look, caveat. I know I didn't mention Jason Todd. I am aware of Jason Todd. I didn't mention him because he really wasn't on the Teen Titans or the Titans for any significant amount of time, and therefore I didn't feel like he uh, deserved this spot in the chronology. Even though I am aware he existed, he was there. I was just trying to make a point of going through the teams as a chronological movement point, and those were the Batman, Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, and now Damian Wayne were the most known for being on those teams, and for basically were the generational heroes of their time. So that's the reason why I included them and not Jason Todd. I just didn't. I don't feel like Jason Todd was really representative of any generation that I was talking about, so I left him out on purpose. Don't. I don't need a million things saying, "Oh, you forgot about Jason Todd." I know about Jason Todd. I didn't include him on purpose. He wasn't really a milestone for any type of generation. He exists kind of in the ether there of like a bit in between Dick Grayson and Tim Drake. Anyway,